whether they agree or not. So I would say that there are undoubtedly people, I would say, on both sides of the argument who are going to and are misinterpreting what I'm saying. But I don't think that invalidates what I'm doing, because the majority of people don't seem to be responding.
So then, okay, so for the first lecture, I felt like
as you can see, all they are contributing to the discussion right now is
emotional
Yeah, well, no, I'm not trying to correct your remembrance, but the second one was more structured.
Yeah, well, the second one I felt like, I think it was the second one where I felt like you were like really speaking like out of emotion and fear and like, and you were talking about, you were stating a lot of literature or lack thereof, or studies or lack thereof in speaking on, for example, the impact that the lack of diversity has on a corporation, for example, in regards to creativity. And so I felt like
well, we don't want to necessarily make the case that we want to increase diversity to increase creativity. It's a weak argument.
Okay. But
we want to increase diversity to remove prejudice.
Okay, but the thing is that one, like, you talk a lot about frames and like the operating from a specific frame. And I think that it's really important for you to acknowledge that you're operating from a very specific frame as well. That there are certain things that you just never understand, right? No matter how much you engage in the community, how many studies you read, how many like other academics you speak to, no matter how much you psychoanalyze, there's just like a frame that you won't be able to
present. Yes, definitely.
And so to speak about something that is so real and so presently impressive for people that live in reality.
What are you speaking about?
I'm speaking about the way that your approach to discrediting the important, to discrediting communities that are taught
I don't know if Dr. Peterson
is still here. And I think that if that's not your point,
Dr.
it's
Peterson,
misunderstood.
I have some words for you.
I thought even your supporters of
the University of Toronto.
Well, in Iraq and Iran, there's real oppression going on. This is not real oppression. And I think that that's problematic. So using these studies to talk about something that is honestly can never be articulated that way.
Let's move down to this. This is becoming like oppressive.
No, I think that's good. My country and our nation to enjoy Western values.
It's not a problem.
Speech.
You never know whether this went well or bad. We'll see. So much for thanks for coming.
That's not how human beings
it's really trippy. I feel very uncomfortable here. I'm not like here, but so I kind of feel like
you're here.
Yeah,
that's brave.
But so I feel like it's that approach that is also bothering me.
Yeah.
This approach where it's like I'm gonna rationalize this situation as a white man, a white academic man.
No, I gotta stop you there.
Can
you just for a second?
Okay.
Because I never introduced race into this dialogue, and I'm not treating you like a black woman. I'm treating you like a human being. And so to introduce race into the dialogue, I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it's helpful for what you're after, and that's partly why I'm doing this. I think that our society has become so obsessed with group identity that we're pushing in a counterproductive direction.
Okay, so I think that I disagree with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I bring my lived experience into everything that I do as a black woman.
Yeah.
The way that I view this world, the oppression that I feel, and the way that I operate and maneuver is very much as a black woman. Because I was racialized. I've been made aware of my race in a lot of ways. Right?
Are you a student?
No.
Oh. Just curious.
Yeah, I just like to follow.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think it's important to acknowledge your circle of competence.
Yeah.
And so to speak on things in such a sterile way, to discredit it, it's not an argument.
What do you think I'm discrediting?
The oppression. They need to talk about it.
No, definitely not.
Oppression.
Definitely not discrediting it. I think that, and I'm glad that you're here, and I think that talking about oppression is just exactly what we need. What we don't need is failure to talk about oppression.
Okay, so what's your main argument? Is your main argument that the legislation needs to be clearer, or is it the fact that they are taking, they're criminalizing people that don't, that they're potentially going to criminalize people that don't
Speak the right
have intent? That don't have
speak
intent.
the right words. That's my problem. They're going to criminalize not speaking the correct words. And we're not going there. I'm not going there, I can tell you that. That's not a good thing.
Okay.
And the fact that it happens to arise out of this particular issue,
Yeah.
you know, the transgender issue, it has to arise somewhere. But I think that the principle that I'm discussing transcends any of the localized elements of its argument.
Okay, so I feel like that is a valid argument.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I feel like making sure that the legislation is clear in defining what is hate speech. And
Actually, I just as soon we got rid of the whole hate speech thing. Because I think it's unbelievably dangerous to drive people who hate underground and not let them talk. And it's partly because you don't know where they are. And you don't know what they're doing, and you can't refute them.
Okay, but so I think where I draw the most issue is like I was like, okay, the core of your argument makes sense. I can kind of understand it.
Okay.
But where you draw that line, I don't understand. Like
Yeah.
the example you
Look,
use
that's
of
a
not
tough
using
one.
gender
That's a tough
pronouns,
one.
like I just don't get it.
Yeah?
At all.
Oh, well, I can tell you a bunch of things about that briefly. I'm going to just stick to the one thing for now.
Okay.
I think that we are in danger of crossing a very dangerous legislative line. There are reasonable restrictions that can be placed on what people can say, can't say. But you cannot force people to mouth words. It's not good. And seriously, the transgender issue, there's another issue associated with that. And the issue is that we don't understand the biological or cultural foundations of human sexuality well enough, in any sense of the word, to bring premature closure to the discussion. And we are actually doing that. So
In that argument, I don't think it doesn't hold much validity to me because for a person that is in an oppressed community or that feels oppressed, right?
yeah.
If they're asking for, so to that answer, I said to what end? So to what end? So at the end of this,
Yeah, that's the question.
right?
That's the question.
But so it's like at the end of all this research,
Yeah. I'm not.
and you conclude whatever you need to conclude in order to rationalize it.
Well,
These,
I'm
like
being.
these people are still in the same reality.
I'm being
still
asked.
the same.
I understand that. I understand that, but
Yeah.
I do not believe that the way forward for those communities is down that path. It's not a path that's going to be good for anyone.
And so this is where I come back to this framework of like
Yeah.
of
Look, I could
operating
be
from
wrong.
a specific place, right? It's
Yeah.
like so you as a person, as this person that has so much privilege and has never really had to internalize oppression the way that an oppressed community has.
Well, you don't know much about my background, so I wouldn't make presumptions like
Okay,
that.
but I'm saying the way that oppressed community has. So we live in a white supremacist society. That's just
Don't buy it. We don't live in a white supremacist society.
Okay.
No, look, if you
Can I
think
just
this is a
finish my
white
argument?
supremacist society, you should read some history.
Can I just finish my argument? So this is my argument, and then this is probably where the disagreement occurs.
Yeah.
But so I feel like as that person, you can't speak for a community that has already organized and spoken about what they need in order to.
Why should I assume that the people who are speaking for that community are valid representatives of the community? Merely because they put themselves forward as that? We have a democracy so that people can elect representatives that have credibility. Anybody can stand up and say, I'm representing community X. That doesn't give them legitimacy apart from the integrity of their argument. So I'm not convinced at all that the people who are speaking out on behalf of X community are legitimate representatives of those communities. Just because they happen to belong, like I'm not a legitimate representative of white men. I'm just me. Now I also have to be white since we have to have that discussion. But that doesn't make me a representative of white people. Or it does. If it does, it does it in such a staggeringly peripheral way.
Yeah. No, but it doesn't.
I know you're wrong. I know who you are, Jordan
You did
Peterson.
a phenomenal job of articulating your arguments, by the way. So keep it
I
up.
was wrong. Keep the girls out. Keep the Roman Empire pure.
I'll follow this.
Yeah, well,
I know right on it.
yeah.
I'm a racial realist,
Yeah.
okay?
Big part of it.
This is